I didn't realize that, but I saw the shirt and go, I know that guy.
Oh, thank you. So I hooked it up just to there, and then obviously you want to go here.
Just. I know.
Good afternoon, everyone. We will get started. So if all candidates could be seated. Thank you all very much for being here this evening. My name is Celia Johnston Blue. I'm the president and CEO of the Massachusetts Women of Color Coalition. This forum is brought to you tonight by Worcester Community Labor Coalition, which is a 16-member organization. The members of the Worcester Community Labor Coalition are Worcester Roots, Independent Socialist, Worcester Black Clergy Alliance, NAACP of Worcester, Massachusetts Nurses Association, Showing Up for Social Justice Worcester, Mass Teachers Association, IBEW Local Union 96, Worcester Common Ground, Worcester Interfaith, Massachusetts Women of Color Coalition, Carpenters Worcester Local 336, Local 509 SEIU, Neighbor to Neighbor, Training Resources of America, Renewable Energy Worcester. So these are the members that are bringing this forum to you this evening. I want to thank the candidates for being here today and welcome you all to this forum this evening. Voting is a right that sometimes we take for granted. And so tonight we hope that you'll hear from all the candidates and that the ones that align with your values and what's important to you, that you'll be inspired to go out and vote in the primaries and the election. And most importantly is going out to vote. So with that, I'm going to introduce to you our moderator for this evening, Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor is a 40-plus resident of Worcester, graduate of South High and married with 2 children and 2 grandchildren. Fred was a homeowner in the Boys and Girls Club neighborhood of Main Street for many years before moving to the east side of the city. He currently serves as the president of the Worcester branch of the NAACP and is also a core member of Black Families Together, a committee member of Worcester's Black Heritage Juneteenth Festival, and also a representative of Worcester Community Labor Coalition, where he represents us on the Worcester Jobs Fund Board, overseeing equity and diversity initiative, and is also the chair of Worcester Construction Diversity Monitoring Committee. On the state level, he was appointed to the Law Enforcement Body Worn Camera Task Force, representing the NAACP, and is most recently named to serve on the Governor's Advisory Council on Black Empowerment. He also serves on the Maine South CDC's Board of Director and is a very proud employee by the North Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters, the Carpenters Union. With that, I welcome Fred.
Thank you, Celia. Mike's good. Tonight, thank you all for coming here. As Celia said, voting is very important. I'd like to introduce the candidates. Robert Bilotta, Etel Haxhiaj, Kostas, Maureen Montero, Edson Montero, Katia Norford, Ojeda, Jennifer Pacillo, Phil Palmieri, Jose Rivera, George Russell, Maureen Schwab, Feanna, and am I missing someone else? Did I miss anyone? No problem. Did I miss anyone? Thank you very much. So these are the candidates that are running for district office here in the city of Worcester. I want to be clear with everyone that every candidate that is running for district city council was given an invitation over a month ago, so everyone had an opportunity to be here. And I'd like all of you voting citizens to just take a look and see who's here and just remember who's here. I'm going to go through some of the rules for this forum. The candidates will have 1 minute. There's a lot of candidates, so I know some forums you have a lot more time to give an opening statement. Because there's 13 of you, we only allow 1 minute for an opening statement. You'll get a warning at 30 seconds. Please be respectful of the timekeepers. The timekeepers are right here in front, right? Please have some respect for the timekeepers. We want to keep this tight tonight. We'll also have 1 minute to answer each question. You'll have 1 minute to answer each question. You'll have a minute and a half for the closing statement. All right. The way this is going to work is we have all the candidates' names inside of this basket. This young lady is going to pull the name of the first candidate who's going to get the first question. Once she gets that question, the questions are going to go from the right. So let's say the first person gets the first question. The next person to answer is going to be the person to their right. If we start in the middle, it's going to be the first person to the right. And we're just going to continue back around to the first person until we complete all the questions. All right. Thank you very much. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming out. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And without further ado, we want to get this moving. We're doing really good on time. Thank you all. Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Thank you. Thank you for catching me. Yeah, I'm in a hurry. I have the first name, but yeah, please. We'll start at the end with Rob Bilotta with an open statement. Thank you.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Robert Bilotta. I live in Worcester, Massachusetts. Live down by Lake Ave. Grew up in Worcester. Grew up in District 2. I went to North High School. Graduated there in 2004. I went to Worcester State College. Graduated there in 2010 with a degree in communications and urban studies. Since then, I've really devoted my professional and personal life to improving quality of life for Worcester residents. I've served on the Disability Commission, now it's called the Access Advisory Commission, for 5 years. I was the chairperson for 1 year. Also currently serving on the Human Rights Commission. So I'm really proud of the work that I've been able to do, helping improve quality transportation and affordable housing. This past year, worked with the inclusionary zoning with the Affordable Housing Coalition. So I'm really proud of the work we did there, and running for city council because I believe in investing in our neighborhoods, investing in our people and small businesses, everyone that's really contributed and brought Worcester to where we are today. So that's why I'm running. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Worcester Community Labor Coalition. As a proud former member, I am very proud to stand here with you. My name is Etel Haxhiaj. I am the District 5 City Councilor. I am a proud Albanian American, a mother of 2 young boys in Worcester Public School, and a longtime community worker. For the last 20 years and for the last 20 months, I have served the residents of District 5 in the city of Worcester, as I have for the past 20 years. I've engaged with over 500 calls, emails, messages from residents, have attended over 80 community meetings to help things from like trash, potholes, snow removal, to comforting a grieving mother for losing her 5-year-old child on Stafford Street because our roads are unsafe. I stood side by side the 100+ residents at 267 Mill Street when their irresponsible landlord decided to make them homeless and render them and take them to court. I have worked to put thoughtful solutions to the table, like redeveloping Big D, work with neighbors for cleaner and safer neighborhoods. I have proudly supported the emergency shelter at Blessed Sacrament.
Thank you. Thank you. So with the candidates from time to time, please look up at the time because we want to keep this thing pretty tight. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Feanna, Jattan-Singh. I'm not native from Worcester. I was born and raised in North Carolina, but I moved to Worcester in 2010 when we bought our first home. I'm a proud mother of 4, a wife. I was a substitute teacher at Abbey Kelly for the past 10 years, but I recently stopped to focus on my campaign. The reason I'm running is because I see every day kids walking to Roosevelt School on Sunderland Road. I've been trying for over 10 years to get the city to put a sidewalk on Sunderland Road, and finally I decided I should run on this issue. So that's not the only issue I'm running for, but I want safe ways of getting around the city for everybody, not just people in my neighborhood, but for everybody. But I'm specifically running for District 3 because that's where I live and that's where I'm trying to make the biggest impact. But I do also support more affordable housing, also better transportation around the city, not just having the bike lanes and the sidewalks, but also improving our bus system. And if we can't fix the broken system, I think we should have our own Worcester City buses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ted Kostas. Thank you for having us here, by the way. I was born in Worcester, raised in Worcester, live in Worcester all my life, with the exception of a few years when I moved to Florida. I'm a former businessman, small businessman. I did some development. And the reason why I'm running is because I see what's going on in the city. It still needs a lot of work. No offense to anybody that might feel that they didn't do anything, but it requires a lot of experience, which I have, and I want to make sure that we have that available to everyone in the future. That's why I'm running. And besides, this wasn't on my bucket list, kids. So this is something we have to do.
Hello. Hello, my name is Maria Montano. I'm running for District 4 City Council. I'm a lifelong resident of Worcester. I have 3 children, 2 of which are adults, graduates of Claremont Academy. I have a small child who's 10 who has abilities. I don't like to use the word disabilities. During COVID, I had to quit my job working for the Worcester Housing Authority. Prior to that, I have had experience working at an adult day health center, working with people who have disabilities and elderly. I've also worked in the Shrewsbury Public Schools for 10 years. I'm running because, just like everyone else, we just want to see change. I do take the city transportation, so I am constantly advocating for better routes, accessible routes, and just to keep working in the community to make it better.
Hello everyone, my name is Edson Montero. I am excited to introduce myself because I am running for District 5 this time. I am a proud dad of 4 kids. I think and I believe that through education we can do better here in Worcester. I believe that we have to get more diversity. I believe that we had to include the population that live inside of Worcester, the neighborhood, not just only big business from Boston. I think the Worcester is more than 3 Street, it's more than Shrewsbury Street, it's more than Main Street, and it's more all the area that the City Hall is working right now. I think the District 5 have a Taco Square, have a Newton Square, Lakeside, Mill Street, and I don't see how the money from the City Hall go to my neighborhood.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Katia Norford. I'm a candidate for District 4. I'm running because I'm a resident of District 4 for 20 plus years. I'm a proud owner and also a business owner. My husband and I have been working for our community for 20 plus years. I'm also a board member for my church, a local church, where I have a club that I'm a club director. I work with kids with 3 to 10 years. I also part of the Main South Business Association, Main South CDC. I'm a PTO board member of the Woodland Academy, also the Site Council member of a Claremont Academy, and I would like to continue in a bigger scale what I'm doing right now. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Luis Ojeda, born and raised in Worcester and lifelong resident of District 4. After graduating from Doherty High, I attended Quincy Community College, and after graduating from there, I graduated from UMass Amherst with my degree in sports management, and I also have my master's degree in education from Endicott College. I then began working for the Boys and Girls Club, where I worked for over 10 years. I transitioned to the Worcester Public Schools, and this coming school year, I'll be in my 22nd year, and my first year as assistant principal at University Park Campus School. My mother was a social worker for the Department of Transitional Assistance in the Housing Division for 21 years. My father worked many jobs and was a strong advocate for the Hispanic families in Worcester. He was the founder and co-founder of several agencies and most proud of the first drug referral agency in Worcester called Primera Parada. My parents raised all 7 of us to be responsible and caring, respectful. My parents supplied us with all we needed and not what we wanted, and most importantly, supplied us with unconditional love. This is why I'm here, to give our district the love that it needs and the support to be successful.
Hi, my name is Jenny Pacillo, and I'm running for City Council District 1 because I want Worcester to be a place where kids, families, and seniors can thrive. I'm a neighborhood association leader. I'm editor part-time at Pulse and CM Pride magazine, and I'm a stay-at-home mom with my 3 kids in Burncoat, and one of them is over there. I completed my second master's in public administration this May, and I believe that regular people need a bigger voice in our city. District 1's neighborhoods are vibrant and diverse. As your next counselor, I will be a voice for every resident, whether you're on the west side, in Burncoat, or on Lincoln Street. I will prioritize transparency, responsive city services, public safety, and quality of life. I will always answer my phone, listen to residents, and work to make our community a place that we are all proud to call home. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Phil Palmieri. I'm the senior in the group. I don't think that there's anyone here that's older than I am at this juncture. First of all, you know, I've been a lifelong resident of the district and of the city. I believe that, you know,
Lights? Lights? The lights are in the corner by the door. Thank you.
Educationally, I have a bachelor's degree in English and master's in education. I worked for the juvenile justice system for 30 plus years, and I'm a business person. I've always had this great amount of experience when I was on the council. We established the Union Station Alliance that stopped the Union Station from being demolished. Green Hill Park, 500 acres of public parkland that was in terrible shape, and now finally we see the fruits of our labor. We take a look at Worcester Vocational School and North High School, both schools built for half the money that Doherty High School is at this juncture.
Hey, everybody, my name is Jose Antonio Rivera, candidate for City Councilor District 5. I moved to Worcester at 16 years old as an orphan to pursue my dream of becoming a world champion boxer. I was able to accomplish my dream 3 times, and I tell you that it was the help with the Boys and Girls Club and the city of Worcester that took me in, wrapped their arms around me, and helped me flourish in this city. And I just using my platform to give back to my community, my residents, my constituents, hopefully. And I tell you that every time I talk to the kids in the schools, I always tell them the importance of believing in yourself, working hard, and never giving up. And when I also talk to them, I tell them that you should always have goals, and when you accomplish that goal, you got to set another goal. And that's what I'm doing with my life. I've accomplished many things, and how would I be if I'm not walking the walk and talking the talk that I'm telling the kids in our community about? Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is George Russell. I'm the District 3 City Councilor. If Phil Palmieri and I were in the United States Senate, they would call us the young kids in the room. You know, I've been on the council for 12 years, and I'm proud of my record on the city council. My record is an open book. You might not agree with me on every issue, but you know that I'm there for you. You know I'm there for everyone, whether you're in the district, you're not in the district, to have a conversation, to return your phone call, and to talk to you specifically about the issues. And even on the issues that I don't agree with you on, I'll sit down and explain to you why. I'm a realtor. I'm also an urban studies graduate, and I served on the planning board, on the Lakewood Sigma and Watershed Association as a past president, as a Democratic State Committee member for many years. So I'll always be there. And also, one other thing, 100% roll call vote. 100% roll call vote. The world is run by those who show up, and I show up for the District 3 in the Worcester City Council.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maureen Schwab, and I am running for a seat in District 4, which, if you don't know, District 4 runs all the way from Highland Street in the north all the way down to the Auburn line in the south. And I live currently in Green Island, and I'm a fourth-generation Green Island resident. I'm a graduate.
I almost didn't give you a chance for opening statement, but you got it in. We're going to have Marlene is going to pass out the questions after I read the first question. So I'm going to read the first question, and then she's going to pass out the questions to the other candidates, so that you'll have the questions in front of you, and you'll know what's coming next, all right? So the first question is going to go to District 3 Councilor George Russell. The first question is, did you sign a responsible development pledge? And please tell us why or why not, and which parts of the pledge are you willing to start working on now, and how will you work on it? And if you didn't sign the pledge tonight before, are you willing to sign the pledge tonight?
I have signed it. I'm all for it. In fact, if you look back in the history of the Worcester City Council, the TIF policy that's in place, it was there because George Russell got up at the council floor one day and said, hey, when I was on the planning board, we had a set of rules, we had a set of guidelines of what we expected from developers to do when they come into the city of Worcester, just to put a simple parking lot on. Why aren't we asking them for specifics? Why aren't we asking them to hire Worcester people, local, keep the jobs local, give incentives to the neighborhoods? So I've signed that, and I'm happy. I'll continue to support it, win or lose. We're going right.
Thank you.
Hi, yes, I did sign, and one of the things that we get protection from by signing this is wage theft, which is a very serious business and a very serious consideration when you're in the construction. We want to go out of our way to make sure that doesn't happen. And giving an apprentice a chance, that's always a good thing. So I'm all for this, and I signed it.
Thank you. Leave it on this table. So we'll go, Rob Bilotta is going to be the next person.
Yes. Oh, it's not on. Use the hand mic.
Thank you. Thanks, Ernie. Yes, I did sign the pledge. Absolutely support making the TIF policy an ordinance. We need stricter guidelines for developers in our city to come here and build and provide labor for our citizens and labor that benefits everyone. So absolutely, I support it.
Not only have I supported the TIF ordinance, I've been a champion of it before I became a city councilor. I stood side by side the Carpenters Union and others to protest the wage theft at Front Street. I support apprenticeship programs. I have been a champion of turning our policy into an ordinance. There is absolutely no reason why any contractors, subcontractors, or developers coming to Worcester should not give local jobs to local people and treat the workers with the respect they deserve. And thank you, committee member Mailman, for pushing for apprenticeship programs, which I support.
Thank you. Yes, I also support this. I think everybody should be held to the same standards, but also that we should support the local Worcester residents for the workers, and also that there should be standardized rules for everybody. It shouldn't be some people get a special deal and some people have this rule. So it should be uniform for everybody. There shouldn't be any special, favors being passed out to people.
I'm going to do one step further. I'm signing it right now. I've looked into it, I've read about it, I've spoken to a few people, and that is my commitment. That's what I'm going to do. We need to support local businesses, workers, wage theft, everything imaginable going on in construction business right now. I've seen it all, and I've heard a lot of it, and I really would like to see fairness for everyone. Thank you.
I don't want to piggyback on everybody's stuff, but I think I can agree with the same. Anyone that is coming into the city to build should be held to a certain standard. I will be supporting this. I will be signing off. I also agree on the apprenticeship programs throughout the schools. I think that is a good thing, and we can get more people from the city working for us, and the kids are getting something out of it as well. So I also agree, and we'll be signing.
I served for more than 10 years a population with vulnerability situations. I work for CHL like a kitchen manager. Right now, a bunch, more than 84 of my co-workers, they were fired. I try to fight with the stigma through cultural institution that I call Cofradía Cultural, and I try to fight with the stigma against minority and population with low income. And yes, I signed this because through education, I think we can do better, because together we can do better. If the coalition, the carpenter, can make a better community, then I support this 100%.
Yes, I sign it, and I support it 100%, especially because I have experience with my sister, one of my sisters, that suffered for the wage theft. She was employed with a company that I'm not going to name the name right now for respect, but they make her work 2 part-time jobs in the same company just because they don't want to pay the wage that she's supposed to be paid. Another reason is because I believe that the youth need to have the opportunity to have better education and have top training systems. I'm a believer of training education, and they can do much better. And sometimes I'm a hairdresser, and there is one thing that is a technology, so technical. So I definitely support it and will commitment to do the best I can to support this. Thank you.
I just like everyone else, I do agree that this is something that we need to all sign, myself included. I think the most important thing about this is the accountability piece. You hear it time and time again, making sure there are consequences for the breach of provisions, strengthen the language around loopholes that developers and companies find. Also to make sure safety trainings are in place, and put a focus on minority women-owned businesses. Support hiring the second compliance officer. I think that's important to put more eyes on certain projects that are going on, especially the big projects that are going on. And, at the same time, hold everyone accountable in order for us to be successful in the city.
Oh, thanks. Yes, I was happy to sign the pledge. During my 15 years as a waitress, I absolutely experienced wage theft. I mean, it's common. At the time, I didn't have the option to speak up, and I'm very happy that I have the voice now. Some ways we could strengthen our current TIF policy is to, what Louise said, add a compliance officer in purchasing. We could hold contractors, we need to hold contractors and subcontractors accountable with enforceable requirements, and we need to develop policies that award new public construction to unions and local people. Thank you.
I've signed the contract. It's a no-brainer. Anyone that is responsible should be doing this. But the fact of the matter is that we've seen these contracts before the council, and there's been no teeth in them, and we haven't been able to really make the kind of impact for all of those people that need it. I think at least half of the TIF agreements shouldn't even be in place. Developers really don't need all of this money to build in Worcester. But if they are and they're going to get a TIF, then they should be responsible to do the right thing. And I'm hopeful that we'll see that, because taxes are through the roof, and this is one of the reasons for it.
So yes, I agree, like everybody else here, and I signed it, and I think it's important that to help the city move forward, that we implement pledges like these. Most importantly, I see that it's a unanimous vote here on the candidates on the council, so moving forward, it's going to help us work together better to keep improving the lives, for better wages, for career ladder moving opportunities, for to help with against discrimination, and also for safe working places. So, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So we have 4 mics on the table. So if we can do me a favor, yeah, please. So that mic can stay on the first 2 tables, and then the mic in front of Jenny, you can use that. That way we can just keep everything organized, right? Thank you. We're going to move to the next question. My assistant. Drum roll. And the winner is Edson Montero. The next question is, Massachusetts recently updated the building codes and added an optional specialized stretch code with an even stronger regulations. The opt-in includes the requirement that buildings be all electric or electrification ready. All electric buildings reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve both indoor and outdoor air quality and the health of the residents. Do you support adoption of the specialized stretch code? And if you do, please explain why.
Yes, I believe in this, and I adopt this for my own house and kind of life. We just put a solar panel in my house because we believe in the stretch code. I see my daughter, she buy a car, electrical car, because we believe this is the future. If we don't do nothing now, we cannot leave a better planet for our child. Everything that I am doing right now is for my child and the child of my child. If we don't take care of the planet, then we cannot leave nothing for them. And the stretch code right now, for me, the specialized stretch code is the most advanced and stronger regulation that we have to make sure that we have a better edification for the future of our kids. Thank you.
I agree with this code. Thank you. I agree with this code because we need a better health. We have to have better air. The pollution is killing us, and we need to reinstall that option for us, for our future youth. I believe in going and have electrical buildings and the air qualification in the greenhouses. I'm very interested to see how can we develop more, like Edson says, electrical cars that can clean our pollution and bring better pollution system in our city. Thank you.
I'll be honest, this is new to me, understanding the specialized stretch code. But an understanding that this is going to provide better air quality and improve the health of our residents. I think what comes to mind is, the cost, if there's going to be a cost to, in these buildings, within the homes and, businesses and stuff like that. Are there going to be incentives for people to want to be a part of this or push for the code? And also, and doing research and understand the air quality, planting more trees is also another way, a safer way to make sure our air quality is safe for our families and for the rest of the city. So that's what I have.
Yes, I've actually recently started reading the specialized stretch code. So like Luis, I don't have like this, vast knowledge of it, but it's all part of, pushing the Worcester Green Plan, which is going to make Worcester the leading mid-sized city for sustainability and climate resilience by 2050. We need to have net zero and climate resilient new buildings in our city. We need clean and renewable energy, and we also need to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. As a mom with 3 young kids, I believe protecting the environment for current and future generations is absolutely imperative. Thank you.
There isn't any question that it's a great idea, but the cost is going to be absolutely overwhelming. And if the federal government is not going to play a serious role in this, then it's going to make a difference to everyone, each and everyone in this city. So I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to bridge that gap with the federal, state, and municipal government to make certain that we have a sensible, practical plan that will help everyone.
I'm in the same boat. I want to do more research into this. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of costs. And this, I think the sound of it is great, cleaner, safer, healthier for our kids and everything like that. So definitely something that I want to look into more, but to say that I'm going to support it today without doing more research into it, I think would be irresponsible of me to do that.
Massachusetts already has a stretch code. The whole state does. The decision we have to make at the local level is if we want to take it to another level. We want to make it even more. I've supported the Worcester Green Plan over the years in the council, and I will continue to do so. But has anybody seen their electric bill lately? Yeah. I mean, really. So the bottom line is my concern would be, and I hope I could get by this concern so that I can support it. My concern is, does National Grid have the ability to, on the system, to handle the extra usage, or will that just further drive up our costs? I know it'll drive up the cost of building, and we don't want to make it more expensive to build affordable units. We want to make it less affordable. So the jury's still out on my level for that vote, but I want to work to see if we can get it done. But again, we're going to need some help making sure we can control the electric costs.
I'm in favor of the stretch code. I live in Green Island, which is a heat island. So it's very important to look at all of the issues that are going to affect the climate in that area, which is covered with impervious surfaces and, like I say, 10 degrees hotter. Mm-hmm. Yes, electricity may be a little bit more expensive, but it's something we have to do because we can't keep depending on fossil fuels, the natural gas, coal. One of the things that we do have to look forward to is that new technology and innovation will give us green energy that is cheap, reliable, and will keep us clean and happy, at least the air. Thank you.
Robert Bilotta.
Thank you. Yes, I absolutely support the stretch code. I think we really need to start working on reducing greenhouse gas emissions. We really need to start mitigating heat islands, as it was mentioned before. These are serious issues that affect quality of life for our residents. We need to start preparing for the future. I know architecture is starting to really embrace green technology, but it's time that Worcester really steps up and does more to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and really improve air quality for our residents. So I absolutely support this.
As the chair of the Urban Technology, Innovation and Environment Subcommittee of the City Council, not only do I support the specialized stretch code, I have been beating the drum that Worcester needs to do more. I want to give kudos to our Department of Resiliency, who just held an amazing presentation the other day, has endorsed the idea. 18 communities in Worcester have recently adopted the stretch code. I don't want to play with my boys' future, and neither should you. We need to do this. There is absolutely no research or data backing the fact that the specialized stretching code is going to make it more expensive. There are resources. Instead of starting with no, as I said in my city manager's evaluation, the city of Worcester needs to start with yes, we can.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what she said. Yeah. So not only do I support this, but I have already gone solar on my house. And yes, I've seen my electricity bill. It was $19 last month. So I do still have oil, but I'm looking into getting electric for my house to replace that. And there are programs to subsidize that. It's called Mass Save. If you sign up for a new electric mini split system to replace the oil, you can get subsidized through Mass Save. You can get a zero interest loan. So you don't have to pay for the whole thing up front, and it will not cost much if you go solar like I did. So it makes a no-brainer. Of course, everybody wants clean air. If you don't have clean air, you get asthma, you get cancer, you get all the other things that are going on right now in our society. And with the greenhouse gases, it leads to the unexplainable climate change that we've been having recently, where you end up with tornadoes. So which would you rather have, clean air or heat that you can't bear?
I'm not ready to accept this at this time because I'd like a little more research to be done on my behalf so I can understand that a little bit more. I understand that the stretch codes will require more on the grid. The national grid is not prepared yet. I'm sure they will somewhere down the road. I'm not ruling it out completely, but I'd like to see what the plans are for the national grid and development. How is that going to work for everyone else? New constructions, yes, it will raise the cost, but it will be worth it once we do the job right. Let's do it right, and let's do it price effectively and safe. That's all I want to say.
I'm going to be on the other end of this, as I can agree with a lot of the candidates. I'm a single mom. And so the cost of my electricity bill has gone up $200 more a month. And so I think of the single moms that's going to be out there trying to pay this electric bill. How is that going to help them? I think we should all be working together to make a greener Worcester, to make it healthier for everyone, but also think of the fact that there's a lot of renters who pay rent. And so they have people that own the buildings, and some of them don't want to use Mass Save. So how is that going to help the residents? I guess that's where I'm thinking. Also, new buildings, is that going to put any more costs on the rent? We have skyrocket rents right now where people can't afford barely to pay their rent. They can barely afford food. So I guess that's what I have on the back of my mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Already. Thank you all. Drum roll, drum roll. All right. Let's see. Who's the lucky one here? Maureen Schwab gets the next question. And the next question is, it's a long one. not really that long. Over the past several years, we have seen the hospital industry and its executives gain more and more unfettered power to make decisions about jobs, access to care, and bed closures and social services. In the absence of laws and regulations that protect us and our tax dollars, these decisions are all too often solely made by the hospital industry and without genuine regard for the needs of other communities who rely on them and care for their employment. What do you see as your role as an elected official in this climate to ensure access to much needed local health services and hold our healthcare institutions accountable for the good jobs with good working conditions?
Well, I think in the first sentence it kind of says it all, that the hospital industry is kind of a self-governed industry, and it's very hard to go in and break whatever pattern they're holding on to that's keeping it that way. But one thing I do want to mention is that, one thing I've noticed is that we're having a hard time hiring and training people to work in the healthcare industry. People are leaving the jobs are left open. There's a crisis putting people in nursing homes and hospitals because of this. So you really have to wonder, well, what's wrong with the business in general? Why aren't people going into this business? Why do people at the top make so much money while the people who are doing the work have to suffer and work under conditions that are less than optimal? So it's a tough question, but I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to change the way that we work. And when I say we, I mean the people at the front lines, the nurses, the physical therapists, the CNAs, the people in the kitchen.
Time. Rob Bilotta.
Yeah, so I think as a city councilor, what we can do is support our community health workers, support our PCAs, support our individuals that are nurses. These are really good jobs for our community, and it's important that we work with our state delegation, with our state legislators, and everyone else, that stakeholders in the community, to really make sure we keep these healthcare services here in Worcester and keep these these healthcare services that provide so many jobs. So it's about working with our state delegation. It's about reaching out outside of Worcester to really support, to make sure that we keep these services here. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Recently, I stood with the SEIU workers calling for a safe and thoughtful opening of the CHL programs from UMass and CHL. As you know, we lost a lot of beds that are so essential to the community, and the health workers lost their jobs. So this isn't anything new. I have supported the resolution that the SEIU workers brought to the city council. I have stood by and called UMass for closing Plumley Village. And if I am a mother of 2 young children, and I am one of those mothers whose maternity reward is being taken away, you bet that I will always speak out on behalf of our residents and our worker staff, healthy and safe conditions.
Yes, I think, like what both of them just said, we need to have regulations to make it safe for all the employees that are working, not just in the hospitals, but in all of the hospital-related industries, the home health care. I have a friend that's a nurse that she left Massachusetts because of how much work she was being forced to do and not having proper pay and not having enough people helping. And she became a visiting nurse, sold her house here and moved down to Florida. And now she ended up coming back to work in Massachusetts as a visiting nurse because they can't hire enough nurses here because of the problems that they're having from not giving enough support and pay and everything. So I do support having better legislation so that it's more fair for the nurses and the staff at the hospital. And there should be some penalties, I think, for these hospitals that are closing because they're doing harm to our society. So they should have to pay some type of fine or fee or penalty for just up and closing like that. Thank you.
I'm going to be a little blunt. The healthcare industry doesn't give a rat's ass about anybody in this room, except for the bottom line. I know for a fact that's all they care about. What I'd like to see is the city working with the State Department of Public Health and work together with an oversight committee that we could go in and see what's going on in those boardrooms. And not only that, their budget, like I said, they're not paying people enough. That's the bottom line. The unions can only fight so hard for those nurses, for healthcare workers, and that's it. But where does it end? It's not going to end with me and you. We're still going to pay those high premiums. So something's got to be done, and something has to be done with oversight. And then let's see them cry about the bottom dollar then.
Looking at the question, I think as an official or elected official, we should work more with the state representatives and senators to address some of the absence of the laws and regulations. I've worked in the healthcare field. It's kind of like working at a daycare. You never know what you're going to get. So I don't feel that they are paid enough, but again, I think that's something that is in a state level that needs to be worked that out with regulation and laws. But I'd like to also see if we could try to also have apprenticeship programs where the schools can work with some of these local health departments to see if something maybe the kids would like to do and offer as an incentive. But I guess there's no real good answer to this question. So, thank you.
Yes, insurance and medicine company are a big business. I work for CHL. I can feel that pain in my life every day. When I see coworkers moving outside the city because they cannot get a job here. And now with all the jobs that they close, it's affecting us mentally, physical, and economical. But city council really no has the power. We don't have the power like a city council. The only that we can do is raise our voice and review the legislation and how to say, talk to the big representative to do or say something about it. It's the only thing that we can do because these big business are making a lot of money from our taxes. Thank you.
Health is a priority for all of us, our kids, youth, elders, everybody. And our nurses, our doctors fight for us. They are the ones to take care of us. So we need to hold them accountable. We need to hold that accountable. So you can see, like a year or 2 years ago, we can see the strike that the Jattan-Singh nurses had. What happened in there? They are suffering that, and we need to hold them accountable. We need to try to see and make regulation. And we need to support our nurses, our staff, and try to see if we can do better with them and support them. They deserve better wage. They deserve our support. Thank you.
I guess for me, in understanding this, is the bottom line is that we're all here because we not only care about our city, we love our city. And, understanding that we need the healthcare institutions to understand that as well, to care for the people in our city. Us as city councilors, we need to find ways to make sure that they understand that and that they are invested in our community. Everyone needs to know that, not only that we love our city, but we care about the future of our city. And if our youth are the ones that we care about truly and we want them to get into these fields, it's about making sure 10, 15, 20 years down the road that we don't have these issues no longer. Programs need to be successful. They need to understand that we will be working together and we hold each other accountable. Hold ourselves accountable as counselors, but then hold them responsible as well.
We absolutely need to hold our healthcare institutions accountable for good jobs and good working conditions. I had all 3 of my kids at St. Vincent's Hospital. The maternity ward, everyone there was amazing. I called it the spa at St. Vincent's. And when I had my 3rd, the nurses went on strike a couple months later, and you better believe I was down there. I took my 4-year-old, we walked that picket line. Our healthcare professionals deserve fair wages, safe working conditions. They deserve our gratitude and our respect because that job is unbelievably hard. I would work with the state delegation, Department of Public Health, and just listen to nurses, listen to your nurses and doctors, and do what we can to make sure it's fair. Thank you.
This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's not as transparent as we all would like it to be. And I would be hopeful that we would see better cooperation between between the council, the local delegation, and our congressman. We see interventions all the time, particularly when the nurses go on strike, and they go on strike for not months at a time, but sometimes even years. This is absolutely unacceptable. So there should be more transparency prior to, and everyone should have the ability to be able to have very good health care and not use the money issue as an excuse. So I'm hopeful that we'll see better transparency over the course of time, and that we'll see more progress.
As a union worker, I definitely going to support our nurses, and I just feel that it's imperative that we work as a city council. We can work with our state delegates and try to make some noise and try to help out and pass legislations and help out. And we got to raise our voices. And as a city council, we just can't have our hands behind our back and think that we can't make a difference. We can, but we just got to be willing to put ourselves out there. We got to be willing to fight for our healthcare workers. And I think it's important that we do that.
Thank you. As a city councilors have limited ability to come down on some of these big hospitals. But what I, as a city councilor, have done over the years has supported all the resolutions that we can, and all the resolutions that have come on the council floor to support the SEIU and to support the Nurses Association and their issues. I was active with the working group every week or every other week. I think we met at the nurse's office over the closure of some of the Plumley Village healthcare. I walked the picket lines with the nurses, and I will continue to do so. But as a district councilor, I always say, being a district councilor is not only being a city councilor, it's kind of like being a customer service rep that never gets to go home. And I've taken that responsibility on myself to try and help the constituents that have had trouble finding services and trying to hook them up with the right people and the right agencies, and that's the effort that I do. Thank you.
All right, that's it. So, are we out? All right, drum roll. All right, we get to start at the beginning. Rob Bilotta. We'll go right down the line now. All right, the next question is, local economic and community development initiatives often fail to meaningfully engage communities of color and communities with lower incomes, which limits their effectiveness in responding to residents' priorities. In your elected role, in what ways will you collaborate with people of color to identify and prioritize their needs to ensure community development?
So, as a city councilor, your number one role is to be there to listen to folks and to listen to people in your district. I really feel that as a city councilor, my job, it would be my job if elected to listen to folks and to make sure that the development initiatives that we have help the BIPOC community, help people that have historically been disadvantaged. There's a lot of work that we can do to elevate everyone in our community, and I really feel like we really need to hold developers accountable. It's their job to make money. It's the city council's job to make sure that Worcester residents get something out of it, and that it continues, this growth continues to benefit everyone in Worcester. So by being there for these communities and listening and working with community leaders, that's the way to get it done, and the way to really push development that benefits everyone. Thank you.
One of the first things that the Worcester Community Labor Coalition had on the pledge was whether we were going to center racial equity. And that, for me, it's more than a signature, is an action. When the ARPA funds were distributed to the city of Worcester alongside other councilors, I stood up and I raised some red flags around how equitable that process was. We heard from small BIPOC communities and organizations that it didn't feel equitable to them. There were barriers in place. This is more than a pledge. This is a lifelong action. Whether I am on council or not, I will always work to make sure that we are prioritizing, whether that's local hiring or whether that's economic decisions like housing and others that the city council has a say on.
Again, like she said, I feel like we were left out. I, as a person of color, do feel like we were not given an opportunity to know even how the funds were getting dispersed. One of the things, so the question says, if you were elected, what ways will you collaborate? I will let my neighbors know in my neighborhood what is going on and when there are meetings. In our district, there is one Grafton Hill Neighborhood Association meeting, which I attended the last few times. I was one of 3 people of color in that meeting. A lot of our neighbors don't even know that meeting exists. And if one of my friends, who's not a person of color, but one of my friends from college was on that email chain, hadn't told me that they were having a meeting, I would have never even known. So a lot of things are happening and nobody tells their neighbor or the other people that they don't want there. I will tell everybody what's going on. And I'm an open book. I put everything on Facebook every day, where I'm going, what's happening. Anybody that follows me on Facebook knows what's going on and where I'm going to be and where I am and where I was. And I will make sure that the word gets out what is happening in the city. Thank you.
I have to agree with everything everyone just said, and it's fantastic. The problem is, we need to get out more and fight for everyone. There shouldn't be any issues, but there is. So as a city councilor in District 4, I would be out there monitoring, fighting, making sure everyone has the opportunity that they deserve. We're all here as God's children. Thank you.
So I actually talk to people of color every day in my neighborhood. I think one of the biggest issues that I hear from people in the community is a lack of information being distributed. So I think just trying to work with city officials, do more mailers like we do for other things that we send out. I think that's a great way of getting information out. We have the 311, which sends out, you can put in complaints. I think we should have one that is just for resources because there's so much information on social media, everything kind of gets lost in the mix. I also feel that, again, schools should be involved in this as well. If you're handing out information, they're giving the information to their families. I think it's kind of like a domino effect. If you keep spreading the information, everyone has a chance of receiving it. So, thank you.
Yes, I think they know I'm talking. I know we know I'm talking the same language. Because when you see people right there on top, you see like they are untouchable. And when you try to approach, we know are in the same reality. The people with little business, with people with economic struggling, they try to develop a new business. I am knocking door now. They don't know where to go. And when they try to get one information in internet, for example, they cannot find it. because the page and the city hall, they know are update. No. Then the people of color, minority, they don't feel represented right there. When they go to the office and they see all the white people right there, I love it, my wife is white. They don't feel confident. They don't feel confident. They see people that speak some struggling with the English and some language barrier. So.
Unfortunately, people of color feel left out, and that's the reality we're living right now. But we have to change our mentality. Sometimes people of color or Hispanic like me don't get involved, and I learned that in the process. When we don't get involved and we don't show up, we're not going to know what's going on. So as a candidate, I would like to announce everybody what is going on. Make sure that the people show up for every single thing that is happening around. Let them know that they are valued, that they can make it, that they can go, apply, and be successful. Sometimes we are ashamed, and sometimes we just said, oh no, somebody else is doing it. We need to hold accountable. We need to let know our people everything that is going on in our city.
Growing up, this wasn't a thing in my household. My dad was really involved in the Hispanic community, but it wasn't something that was taught to us as young black and brown kids. It was go to school, get your education, do not cause any trouble, do not ruffle feathers, just do what you're asked to do and get your education. But learning that now, I know it's my responsibility to go door to door, attend meetings in the neighborhoods, encourage communities of color and communities of low income to attend these meetings. Coming through on my word, making sure their voices are heard. It's about educating our people. Speaking with people in the community, it's about educating them and giving them an opportunity to know that they can be successful. Letting people know of color that they are important. Their voices and their concerns are what matter. And involve the school administrators, involve store owners and landlords that have these people living in their homes, making their communities beautiful and neighborhoods beautiful, and making sure that we all work together.
I would always commit to working with BIPOC-led, community-based organizations and coalitions. We need to listen to everyone and make things more accessible. I personally led the charge for greater transparency and resident engagement when I fought to make city council and municipal meetings available online permanently. So it's a hybrid, blended civic future. I understand not everyone has internet. We need to meet people where we're at. We talk about it a lot on the Citizen Advisory Council, whether it's going to different festivals, churches, community groups, even just knocking neighborhoods and meeting people. That goes a long way, and make sure everyone knows what's happening. Just be as accessible as possible. Thank you.
I worked in the juvenile justice system for 30 plus years, so I was always working with a very diverse group of people that came into our courthouse, and always was willing to help. We've heard tonight twice on two different occasions, Plumley Village, okay, and the problems at Plumley Village. Well, I was able to establish the food pantry at Plumley Village and the WIC Center, okay, and now by the end of December, that's going to be extinct. It's not going to be there. That's outrageous. That's unfair. And we need to absolutely do something about that. Community builders at Plumley Village, okay, do not allow even relatives to come into Plumley Village unless they are talking with them prior to. That is absolutely outrageous. How do you reach out to the community when you are not allowed to talk with them on government or any other issue?
I think it's important that we get the local sector together with the private sector, and they can listen to the residents' priorities. You know, they can understand what's going on and how they feel left out and what are the issues that they can help in and get involved in. And it would also help more with understanding the diversity that the Worcester is going through and the city that we're becoming. So I just think it's important that bringing them together, both sides, will help alleviate that, those feeling left out feelings for the minority population. I know it helped for me.
As a member of the council for the last 12 years, I'll tell you, I've worked real hard on this. And if you walk into City Hall and you look around, and if you think of what City Hall looked like 10 years ago, even 8 years ago or before, it looked a lot different than it looks today. Today, there's an outreach for minorities to be working in City Hall, people with different languages. You walk up to the window at the city clerk's office, there's someone there that can speak just about every language you can think of. Those are the kinds of things that members of the city council, like myself, have pushed for and have put in place. We've done it by funding the Diversity Equity Office, elevating it to a cabinet level position, hiring the first Latino, first person of color as a city manager. But more important than anything, on a local level, I'm fighting like heck to make sure that the kids at Worcester East Middle School don't have plastic bags hanging from the windows in their classrooms. And that's an important thing. When you talk about an equity lens, it's certainly hard to talk about an equity lens when you can't look out the window because of a plastic bag stopping the wind.
I think the first part of this solution is simply hire the right people. You have to interview people, you have to know what the job entails, the job description has to be real clear, and whoever's doing the hiring has to be real clear that this is a job and a priority will be working with people in the minority communities. And that just has to be clear. Another thing is strong CDCs, a community development corporation, makes all the difference in the world. We lost our CDC in Green Island, and the neighborhood is just not recognizable anymore. So I would start by just hiring the right people. And
Bravo. So that concludes our questions. We have a lot of candidates, so we weren't able to ask as many questions as we like. We have a bunch more questions, but we'll have to be continued. So at this time, we'd like to start with the closing statements from the candidates, and we'd like to start with Rob Bilotta and work our way towards me. So without further ado, it's up to you, Rob.
All right, thank you, Fred. Again, thank you everyone for coming.
And it's a minute and a half for the closing statements, just to remind you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm running for city council because I see Worcester growing, and I don't see it growing in an equitable way that's considering all of our populations, that's considering all of our communities. Grew up here, went to North High School, went to Worcester State. Like I said, I grew up in Worcester's a very diverse community, and I don't see that being valued at the city council level. That's why I'm running for District 2. I also don't see us doing enough to improve economic development for our local folks. We're giving away too much to developers. It's time. I'm tired of hearing it's too expensive. We can't expect developers to come. Worcester is a desirable community, and it's time that we start doing more for our residents in our neighborhood. So thank you.
I am running for re-election because I've worked really hard. I have worked hard before coming to council. I have worked really hard in the last 20 months. I want to tell the kids in my district, I want to tell my own kids that we can have safe roads, we can have a clean community, we can have clean neighborhoods, we can have safety, we can have housing for our workers and our small businesses to be able to live in the city and serve all of us. I want to be able to lead with hope, with vision, with facts and data, not fear-mongering. I am running for re-election. I'm running for re-election because I actually do work, and I actually have thoughtful, common sense solutions. and I have a proven record of having those on the table. If I am lucky and humbled to have the vote of District 5 residents, I commit to working really hard, side by side you, whether you agree with me or whether you disagree with me. This is about our community. District 5 is not an island. District 5 exists in synergy with the rest of the city. I am committed to working for my children's future, for your children's future, and I humbly ask for your vote on September 5th.
A few things that I forgot to say in the beginning. So I did have a degree. I studied at Johnson & Wales University, where I met my best friend in college, Victor Angelis, and he's the one that directed us to move to Worcester when we were expecting our third child. So as a person who moved here, as a mother, a growing family, I saw a city that was starting to grow, but that is not equitable for everybody. Again, no sidewalk on Sunderland Road, no paved roads in a lot of places where there are private roads, but we pay the same taxes as everybody else, but yeah, if you want to have it switched from a private to a public, you have to pay. That's basically saying only the rich people can have nice roads. I think we need to change some of the rules and regulations in this city to be equitable for everybody. Everybody deserves to have a paved road. Everybody deserves to have a sidewalk. Everybody deserves to have safe spaces for getting around town. What good is it having free buses if you can't get from point A to point B to take the bus? We need to have a proper bus system that serves our community so that we can get around. I took the bus one time to go to Polar Park so that we wouldn't have to worry about parking, and then to be able to get back home, the buses had stopped running. I had to walk home in the rain with 5 kids. I had an exchange student at the time, and my husband and I. 7 of us had to wear trash bags to make ponchos to walk home in the rain because whoever's running the city hadn't coordinated the bus schedule with the games. I'm running for common sense. We need common sense leaders in this city. Thank you. Please vote for me.
I'm running because I want to help everyone in the city. Despite where you're from in the district, we're all in the same boat together. We are in my book, but it needs work. I'm willing to listen to you. You're not giving me the other opportunity. Okay? I'm talking to you because I want to hear from you. And it's sincere. That's your opinion, I'm sorry. But, David, come on, give me a break. All right.
Audience, please don't
Anyway.
engage the candidates.
I have made a promise to everyone in this room, and I'll keep it. I will work very hard for you at every aspect that's needed in the community. If you don't believe that, that's fine with me as well. But I will do the job, trust me.
So thank you guys for having me. I'm not a politician. I don't have fancy degrees like the rest of them. I don't have a team. I don't have any of the glamorous things, I guess, that come with running an election. I've lived here my whole life. I am a single mother now. I have 3 kids. I know what it is to have to work hard and pay your bills and try to give all your kids that they want. And also looking for resources in the community and being denied at times. And again, that's nothing against anyone here or any of their organizations, but it stunk real bad. And so when you're looking at your kids and they want from you or need from you, and you are looking for resources in your community and you can't get them, or you feel unheard, this is why I'm in this position now, and that's kind of why I decided to run. I can't say that I know everything that a lot of the people up here do, but I live it. Like, I wake up every day, I take a bus every day, I do this every day. So I talk to people in the community, I walk every day, I take the bus every day, and so I get to see a lot of the stuff that you guys get to drive by. And there is a big difference. A lot of things look good on paper, but a lot of these things don't work for District 4, and so that's why I'm running, and I hope you guys consider that on September 5th. Thank you.
When I hear the leaders from this city talking, I believe that we are in different city because Worcester is a big city and they run like it's a little town. Worcester is multicultural and diverse. When I go to my neighborhood in the west side, I see a lot of private street with no sidewalks, with a lot of pots. And they say that we are the best of the city, but they don't take care of us, the resident right there. I am running because I believe that the family that live in Worcester and pay taxes deserve it better. That's I think. I commit to serving the District 5 to bring to the next level. I want to be part of the renaissance, how they call, all the fixing that they are doing in the city. But I don't see this in the side of the city where I live. Worcester is the whole entire city. It's not just a little town. And this is what the leaders don't understand right now. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you everybody for listening, each one of us. I'm running because I lived here for 20 years, like I said at the beginning. And being a homeowner, a business owner, I can see the different perspective and how things are going around. It needs to be changed, especially for District 4. I'm committed to listen and addressing all the needs that my neighborhood, my district have. I want to advocate, to amplify their voices, to talk to them one by one, and let them know that we can change the stigma, especially on Main South. When I entered to the Main South Business Association and I start to meet with the business owner, I see a lack of opportunity of our small businesses, that they are our backbone, the backbone of our community. And when we need to address that. We want to promote our kids, bring more resources for our school. Our youth need to see a better improvement every single day. We need to give them the opportunity to have better education, to have more opportunities to grow. As well as a mother, I have two beautiful daughters, and I would like them to see Worcester as a different city. And I'm committed to work with the city of Worcester. Thank you.
For me, it's about, looking back to when I was a child and seeing now as an adult where my parents, they struggled. They raised 7 children, worked all jobs, all nights, all hours, and understanding now that I have a voice. But my voice it's not about me. It's not about my history. It's about the story of the people of District 4. It's about, running for city council to bring what matters to our district to the forefront, to support our schools and small businesses and the elderly and the people in our district. My campaign is about the voice of the people, getting people to believe in their city and that their government will work for them. Believe in that there's opportunities, that we need to create opportunities, to improve public awareness and involvement. The vision is about surrounding various issues. It includes positive changes and continuous improvements that advance District 4. We can all contribute to the betterment of our future as a community, but with safe streets, schools, and neighborhoods, quality healthcare, and affordable housing, where residents and business can thrive together and treat people with respect and love and kindness. Respect with safe spaces and enjoy physical activity with time, friends, and family. What I want to see can be achievable working together. Yes, I'm new to this. Yes, I'm up here nervous. My right hand is shaking. But I'm here to work for the District 4, for the people in District 4 to believe that I will be going door to door. I'm there for you. Having conversations with Maria and understanding that those concerns that are out there, they matter to District 4. And my job is to put that to the forefront because that's how we're going to succeed. And that's how I want to continue.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone for being here. I'm before you today as a candidate for City Council, not just seeking your support, but vowing to be an unwavering advocate. My journey has been rooted in hard work and empathy as a waitress for 15 years to being a stay-at-home mom. I understand the struggles of the middle class, of being blue collar. As a mom, I understand the importance of family values and achieving the quality of life that we all deserve. Our district thrives when we can all flourish, kids receive the best education, and neighbors are bound together by a sense of belonging. I vow to fight for policies that will uplift our families, prioritize accessible health care, safe streets, affordable housing, and a clean, safe environment. I'm not just a candidate. I'm your fellow resident. I have the same problems as you. I have the same hopes and dreams. Together, we can shape a brighter future for District 1 and for Worcester. So I humbly ask for your vote on September 5th, and thank you again.
I think housing affordability is one of the most critical issues that we have today. And with the pending legislation that the City Council passed, I thought was not very fair to anyone and everyone. Affordable housing is absolutely essential. When the council voted for a market rate policy, I thought that absolutely adversely impacted just about every resident and homeowner in this city. That needs to change without question. 30% of the people in Worcester own single-family homes. 30%. That's absolutely unacceptable. There needs to be a better policy from this council so that we see more homes owned by single families in the city of Worcester. Streets and sidewalks are deplorable. When I was on the council, we made certain that 75% of the streets and sidewalks in the district that I represented were resurfaced. People want to see something that is as basic as that, and we don't see it. Private streets are horrific. 90 miles of private streets in the city of Worcester are unpaved, the most of any municipality from here to Florida.
My pledge to District 5 residents is that I'm going to bring transparency to the council. I'm going to be there. I'm going to bring facts. You can call them fear-mongering, but they're not fear-mongering when they're facts. And I'm going to be accessible. I'm not only going to hear you, but I'm going to listen. And I'm somebody that you're going to be able to understand, that I will be able to work with you. I want to bring a bridge to the city council because I think there's too much divisiveness, not only in the council, but also in the other departments in the city. I want to work with everybody, and I want to work with the constituents in District 5. I want to focus on District 5. That's my pledge to you, and hopefully I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
I'm running for re-election for city council for the same reason why I ran 12 years ago, because I want to make a difference in the quality of life of the people in the city of Worcester. Friends of mine, family of mine, people that I grew up with as I grew up in Worcester. People that are my customers, quite frankly, in my real estate business, people that are my neighbors. I want to make a difference in the quality of life for them on an overall basis, but also on an individual basis. That's why I enjoy my job as a district city councilor, doing the constituent services, returning the calls, doing that kind of customer service things that need to be done individually for them. I'm happy to continue to do that. On a citywide level, next year and in the rest of this term, I'd like to see us work on the accessory dwelling unit proposal that I put forward, where people can put a little apartment on a single family house to add much needed dwelling units. An issue that I proposed that has been stalled in the economic development office, and hopefully it'll come in. I'd like to make sure we get a TIF ordinance passed. I want to make sure that the kids at East Middle School have windows instead of plastic bags hanging from their windows at the schools. I also want to take a good, clear look at our trash policy. The bags, I ask the administration for a report, and I'm ready to act on it, how much money we generate from the yellow bags, minus the cost of printing those yellow bags. And I'd like to see if we can put that cost of those trash services in the budget.
Time.
Oh, you dropped the mic. That's okay. There are three important reasons why I'm running for District 4 City Council. Number one, we have to turn down the heat in Green Island. We can't be 10 degrees hotter than everybody else. We've got impervious surfaces. We have buildings that are going up that are not doing the right thing as far as landscaping, green roofs, water features. There's a lot we can do. But there's another reason why I'm running, and one of my platforms is realistic housing. Realistic housing for two very special groups. Number one is the homeless. We haven't talked about the homeless tonight. We have to do something for them. They cannot be out on the sidewalk. They cannot be in camps that are being swept up. There is a way to do this. There is a way to do this, to treat everybody with dignity and respect and put a roof over their head. You know, some people say, oh, you know, they're addicted to drugs and they drink. It doesn't matter. Solve one problem and then another one will be solved. And the other group I'm working for and rooting for are the elderly. And I know at the Worcester Housing Authority, it's a mixture. One of my dreams is that there'll be free Wi-Fi and free cable for all the elderly in the Worcester Housing Authority buildings somewhere down the line. That's too much of their budget. Vote for me.
All right. Test. Can you hear me? Okay. So I want to, before I get into my closing, I want to say that I recognize that several candidates tonight didn't previously fill out the pledge, but they did tonight. So if you filled out a pledge, you don't need to do it now. We'll wait until it's over. But if you can just give me those pledges, we would greatly appreciate that. I want to thank the candidates. As Louis said, he was nervous up here tonight. I'm sure several of you were nervous tonight. It's a big thing to do public speaking. I want to thank the candidates, one, for having the courage to sit before us, take these questions, and address them to you, and two, for running for office. I want to thank you guys for that, ladies and gentlemen, for that. I want to remind everyone, it was reminded tonight, but I'll say it again, right? These candidates are running for office. A lot of you folks here, some of you may not be registered to vote. If you're not registered to vote, there's still time to do that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, after you register to vote, if you're not, vote, and if you are registered to vote, please vote, all right? And the second thing is, try and bring someone along with you, right? The voting population in the city of Worcester is very, very, very low. It shouldn't be, right? Bring someone with you to the polls to vote. So that's the second thing. I want to definitely give a shout out to, she's not here, but this wouldn't have been possible to have this event here if it wasn't for Liz Hamilton, the executive director for the Boys and Girls Club. So I definitely want to give her a shout out. I want to give a shout out to the Worcester Community Labor Coalition and the subcommittee, which consisted of Celia Blue, Sandy Ellis, Margot Barnett, Juji Diamondstone, and myself. We planned this event, so I want to give a shout out to them for working with me to make this possible. I definitely want to give a shout out to the youth that helped us tonight. I want to give a shout out to Stephanie, the young lady who was here, who had to leave early. I want to give a shout out to Marley, yeah, sorry, I butchered it. I hate when people butcher my name. All right, and Titi. I want to give a shout out to Titi. Well, people do. They try and say Frederick, and they say Frederick. That's butchering my name. I'll clarify that. It's Frederick. Thank you. And then I also want to remind you all, get out and vote. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Thank you very much. Oh, yes. Oh, I can't forget this. There's another candidate forum. A week from today, probably in this room, all right? The last candidate forum is going to be an at-large and mayor candidates forum. There won't be as many candidates, so we'll get a few more questions. So that'll be good. But spread the word, please, and we hope to see you next week. We hope to see you next week. Next Wednesday at 6 o'clock, right here. Thank you.